Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am creating birthday treat boxes and decorating them with wax seals. I typically make cards, but I wanted to do something different for a change, and these treat boxes seemed like a neat idea. I have the Spellbinders wax seal starter kit here. I have placed my silicone mat over my Glassboard Studio glass mat. I have a tea light candle. I've lit it using a lighter. And I have placed the wax beads warmer over the candle and sat the spoon on top. I have some leftover wax in the spoon as I was practicing making these seals before I hit record. Having leftover wax in the spoon does not change anything. You don't need to worry about cleaning your spoon every time. I'm using just one wax seal today. This is a sentiment seal. It reads, "Happy birthday to you" in a playful font. This is a 1-inch square seal. Here are some seals I made previously using it. I experimented with different wax colors or color combinations. I love playing with wax seals, and once I start, I kind of have a hard time stopping. So it is just so addictive. The Spellbinders Wax Seal Starter Kit is an old-fashioned kit, meaning you need a tea light candle to provide the heat. There are electric wax seal kits out there if you don't like having an open flame in your craft room, but Spellbinders only offers this old-fashioned version. I have already added wax beads to the spoon. I'm combining several colors to have a multicolored seal. I love to do this. I have new colors of wax from Spellbinders. I have orange and yellow. These are new colors, or at least they're new to me. And I also added a pink and a white bead here. So 4 colors in total, and they all go well together, and they're going to give me a colorful seal. This is also going to be a color combination for my project, for my gift boxes. I want these to be bold and colorful because, well, these are birthday boxes, and I want them to have a lot of color. While the wax is melting, I prepared another spoon off camera, and I will place it on the warmer as soon as I remove this spoon. Now, I do this to speed things up. I have multiple spoons in my stash. I think I have 4, and I use them to melt different color wax without having to clean my spoon every single time. I do clean my spoons from time to time, especially if I'm switching between drastically different colors of wax. But this way, I can work with different color wax faster. It started to smoke, and this usually means that my wax is ready to be poured. I removed the spoon from the warmer and placed another spoon in its place. Next, I poured the wax carefully onto the silicone mat. I have multiple colors of wax here, so I was intentional about how I poured it, pouring it in a straight line. You can swirl it if you want to. This will give you a different look. I didn't want to swirl. I just wanted to have a straight line. I carefully placed the wax seal into the hot wax. I have a paper towel handy, and I use it to wipe the bottom of the spoon. That's where you'll usually have a last drop of wax, and I find it is best to clean that wax. Otherwise, it will end up on the warmer, and the more you use your warmer and your spoons, you will end up having like a buildup of wax, and I don't really like that. So using a paper towel here is very helpful. I have silicone spoons from Spellbinders. Now these are new, and they are designed specifically for wax seals. There is a spoon on one end, and you can use that spoon to add glitter to your wax if you want to have a glittery wax seal. And then there's a spatula on another end, and the spatula can be used to stir the wax in the spoon or sort of scrape the wax off from your spoon. Once you start playing with the wax seals, it's kind of hard to stop. You can see that I'm adding wax to the spoon that I just poured, and I have another spoon already on the warmer with more wax being melted. You know, it's just an addictive and fun process. Now the wax that I'm melting right now, this is leftover wax from another seal. I'm re-melting that wax and I'm reusing it. I often do this. If I poured something and I didn't like it, I can cut it up, add it to the spoon, and re-melt it to use it again for another seal. So there is very little waste. If you didn't like something you made with the wax beads, you can cut it up and re-melt those beads to create something new. I also poured another seal in the same wax mix in the same color. Here's a look at it. And with these seals, I love to add a little bit of highlighting using pens. I have a silver Deco Color Premium Metallic marker, and I'm going to use it to add color to the raised surface of my seal. So this adds silver pigment to the sentiment portion, and it helps the sentiment to stand out. This pen or marker is available in gold and also rose gold. So you have options. You can also try other products that you might have in your stash and see if they can work. But these metallic markers work really great. Next, I'm going to work on a gift box. So I have the ribbon box die from Spellbinders, and this makes a small gift box that measures 2.5 inches square, or I guess you would say cube. To create the box, you need to cut this piece twice. I'm using a letter sheet of Spellbinders pink sand cardstock, and I'm going to cut it in half using my paper trimmer. Next, I'm using my Platinum 6 die cutting and embossing machine, and I'm going to die cut 2 pieces for my box. One is done, we just need one more piece. Now, I want to add texture to my box, so I'm going to emboss the box part, not the handles part, just the box part. And I'm using a 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders. This is the November 2024 3D embossing folder of the month. You guys are probably sensing a theme here. I'm actually joining the Spellbinders blog hop today, where we are looking at the November Club product. So I'm featuring the November Wax Seal of the Month. And because I really love this embossing folder, I decided to incorporate this as well. Now, because this is a 3D folder, I need to soften the fibers of my paper. I can do this by wiping the paper gently using a wet baby wipe. I wipe the die cut on both front and back. Now, this depends on the cardstock, but typically cardstock cracks when used in 3D embossing folders, as these folders give very deep embossed results. You can prevent this by applying a little bit of moisture to the paper prior to embossing it. So I place the die cut inside the embossing folder. Like I said, I don't want to emboss the handles. I want to emboss just the box part. I inserted my die cut partially into my embossing folder. Because of this partial embossing, I need a larger die cutting machine. I'm using my original Platinum to have enough room to send this die cut through the machine. If I were to emboss the full die cut, meaning if I would place the full die cut inside the embossing folder, I would be able to do this in my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. You do need the universal plate system regardless of which machine you're using, because you are using the 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders, so just keep that in mind. Next, while the paper is still damp, I'm going to fold along the score lines. This is where the paper can crack the most, so be careful. I did not wet the paper on the other 2 boxes that I made, and it cracked quite a bit. Now, you can also use your finger to gently burnish the fold. I would not use a bone folder here, as it can flatten that beautiful 3D embossing, so use your finger if you need to burnish anything. You can also cut 2.5-inch squares, cardstock squares, emboss those squares, and then simply adhere them to a non-embossed gift box. It's going to give you a similar look. I did not want to do this. I did not want to add any extra layers to my gift box, so I embossed the gift box instead. Next, I'm going to use glue to assemble the box. I'm adding glue to the little flap to adhere the pieces together. And next, I'm setting a large magnet on top to apply pressure and let the glue dry. These, by the way, are new magnets from Glassboard Studio. My mat is also from Glassboard Studio, and I have these magnets, and I love both the mat and the magnets. I've been using their mats because I have a white mat and a black mat for a few years now, and I couldn't be happier. I especially love that mats are magnetic, and I love that I can add magnets on top of my project, to keep things in place as this frees up my hands. I'm going to do ink blending next. Now, I have a new organizer from Glassboard Studio. I have found this to be super useful to store my large fluffy blending brushes from Spellbinders. I actually have 2 of these organizers, and I have sort of reconfigured them to have all tall containers because the one organizer has tall and short containers. So I have reconfigured mine to have all tall containers together to hold the brushes. And here are the small organizers that I have also reconfigured but haven't filled out yet. I'm still deciding what I want to store in those. You can use my code Yana15 to get 15% off anything on the Glassboard Studio website. And remember to use my link too. I have it listed in the video description below. So I'm going to add some ink blending as I want the box to have a gradient. Starting with the yellow ink, this is Citrine. It is the positively saturated ink from Simon Says stamp, and ink blending it about halfway up the side of the box. Be careful if you're ink blending over a damp surface. Mine was still a bit damp as the paper can kind of fold on itself. Next, I added the hot pink ink blending. I used rose ink color. This is also Simon Says stamp positively saturated ink. The overlap of yellow and hot pink created a vibrant orange color, and I love it. I also went back to the yellow and I reapplied it to intensify it a bit. Time to finish assembling the box. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the other flap, fold the box on itself, and align the ends. With that done, I set the magnet on top again to apply pressure while the glue is drying. Next, we need to glue the bottom. So I'm going to fold the flaps inside and add glue to the flap one before the last one, like so. And again, I need to apply the pressure. So I'm going to set the box on my work surface and place magnets inside of the box and let them sit there for about a minute or two. Now our box is ready. I'm going to use ribbon from Vivant. This is available in the Spellbinders shop. It is absolutely beautiful, high quality, premium ribbon. I'm threading the ribbon through the opening in the box and tying it into a pretty bow on the front of the box. Now, you want to do this after you have filled your box with treats, because once you close it with a bow, you won't be able to add anything to the inside of the box. I'm using my Spellbinders detail scissors to cut the ends into a V shape. I do this by folding the ribbon in half on the long side and cutting from the outside in diagonally like so. And this creates a beautiful V-shape ending for the ribbon. I'm also adding Circle ribbon from Vivant. This is another gorgeous ribbon, very different, very festive. This ribbon is plastic and it curls easily with the help of scissors. So I cut a long piece of this ribbon, I tie it around the main ribbon, and then I curl it using the edge of my scissors. And this creates beautiful gold loops. And all that's left to do now is attach our wax seal. I'm using the Spellbinders wax seal stamp adhesive circles for this. I'm adding a circle from the back of the seal and sticking it on top of the ribbon, and my box is done. I made a few more boxes in the same way. I simply changed the color of the cardstock that I used to create the different color boxes, and I love the result. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give this idea a try. I want to come back to this box die and make a bunch of Christmas treat boxes for my friends, fill them with some delicious chocolates, and just give them away as little gifts on Christmas. Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you again soon.